All right. Welcome to the 12th episode of the Rise 41 podcast. I'm your host, Gonzalo Herrero. And today I have the privilege of welcoming Paul Lamar Hunter, a young man who has truly overcome adversity in order to become a change agent of people and a diplomat of education. And he has a truly very, very special story, which I'll absolutely let him share in his own words. And Paul, welcome to the show and tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey, just let me start off by saying I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on your podcast show, Rise 41. And that's
Love
what
it.
the people need. A podcast show like you to let them know that they can rise above their adversity.
Absolutely. This is all about overcoming obstacles and inspiring other people to greatness. And you have a story to share, I think. Let's go.
Well, I am Paul Lamar Hunter. I am the 19th child out of 21 natural children. And let me say this. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. My mother birthed 21 children by
Wow.
my dad. And I'm telling you today, my dad was laying the pipe and my mother was getting a delight. Oh,
Oh, my
right,
goodness.
she was. And I got to say something else. There are 17 of us living today, 64 amazing grandchildren, and 87 great grandchildren. And your listeners that are listening to this interview, you cannot mess with the Hunter family because it's too many.
Yeah, there's too many. All right. So tell us, because there's a lot to unpack here. So tell us your story. Tell me an example how you've overcome adversity and how you've come to find yourself here with this
Well,
story.
this is how I overcame adversity. I have to start off with this. My mother, she was pregnant with the 14th child. They were living in a two-bedroom house. Listen to this adversity story. It was the winter time. The sheriff came knocking on the door. Came in, looked around, told my parents they had 72 hours to vacate
Oh, wow.
because they were breaking the law because it was too many children in the home. And my mom was pregnant with the 14th child.
Oh, wow.
My mom and dad went to church. And back in the old days, they used to put you in a circle, lay hands on you, and they used to believe that God was going to perform a miracle within 24 hours. Let me tell you this. God performed a miracle within 24 hours. A stranger came knocking at the door to show my parents an 18-bedroom house. Took them in the car, drove them to the 18-bedroom house, showed them this beautiful home, and told my mom and dad this house will only cost them $1. Do you hear what I'm saying?
I do.
My father did not get paid until Friday. He did not have 4 quarters. He did not have 100 pennies. He did not have $1. Not even my mother. The man went into his wallet and gave my parents the dollar to pay for this 18-bedroom
Wow.
house. It is a miracle. It is adversity. Was born in this home. So when you, ladies and gentlemen, listening to this, you go out and purchase my book, No Love, No Charity, The Success of the 19th Child, you're going to see it was adversity after adversity, but what came was victory after victory after victory after victory.
Wow. So how did that happen? I mean, do you know where that person came from? Did the church put you in touch with this person? How did that work out?
Well, I tell you what, we didn't have social media back in them days. It
Right.
was all based by communication, talking on the phone, and that's how it happened. And so this
Wow.
man had this 18-bedroom house, and he just basically gave it to my parents.
So it was a community
To
of
my
faith
parents.
coming together in prayer and to make this happen.
It was a community of faith. And you know what the Bible said, without faith, it is impossible to please God. So back in them days, all we had was our faith in God. And also, we had our community. And like I
Right.
said, we did have social media. Social media. We did have cell phones. It was people talking on the phone,
Right.
seeing somebody in the store and saying, you know, them Hunter family, you know, Mrs. Hunter with all them kids, they about to get evicted. They had 72 hours, but God performed a miracle,
Wow.
and they had a house. I was actually born in that home as the
Wow.
19th child. I was born in that home. That home was a blessing, a blessing. Let me say something else. Even though we experienced some difficult times, we did not have a Christmas tree, brother. We did not have toys. Do you know the community? This community in the city of Racine showed up all the time. People knocking on the door, unexpected people knocking on the door, leaving gifts and toys and Christmas trees. And then they will run in their car and drive away because they did not want the credit. They did
Wow.
not want to reveal who they were that was helping the Hunter family. That's the reason why I'm very passionate about
Right.
sharing my story and helping other people, because that's what we need is some faith so we can go out in the world and disperse it to other people.
So let me ask you. So nowadays, you consider yourself a change agent of people and a diplomat of education. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, a diplomat of education is a guy like me that had experienced adversity, also struggled academically. I struggled academically. There were times where it was very difficult for me to say the word hamburger. I had a speech impediment, but you know what? I did not let my disabilities define who I am as a
Right.
person. So what I was able to do was turn my weaknesses into my strength. So I began to practice and practice and practice and practice. And ladies and gentlemen, I learned over the years that practice make perfect.
Wow. And it does. I never would have guessed. I never would have guessed unless you had told me or shared that. Wow. That's truly amazing. So tell us about your book because you're an author also.
Yes, yes. My book is an amazing book. And I have to say the reason why I wrote the book is because I wanted to share my story of overcoming adversity, letting people know that they have a higher purpose and their purpose is bigger than their circumstances. And a lot of time people get stuck is because they so focus on their circumstances where they cannot move away into their purpose because they say this is it. In their circumstances, this is it. Struggle, this is it. Financial bad, financial situation, this is it. Homelessness, this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not it. You just have to surround yourself with positive men and women that will elevate you, that will change you, and make you a better man, make you a better woman, make you a better person, and then you will become the change agent that God has designed you to be. So as a diplomat of education and also with my book, I like to go out into the community, the Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers and Sisters, the YMCA. I love to go and spread a message of hope. I like to encourage men and women. So you might be sleeping on the street, but God can turn the situation around within 24 hours. And that's what you're going to see if you ever have the opportunity to read my book, that things can change around just like that.
So one thing I'm hearing here is that it seems like a lot of people will look at problems and adversity as the things that define the borders. I have to stay and work within these borders. And what you're saying is that to look beyond that. Look beyond that, and those are not borders that will stop you, but they're simply markers on the road, and you can go past them with faith, inspiration, good fellowship, friends, people who are supportive, who are positive. That's
Yes.
kind of what I'm hearing. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. This is exactly because, I see it all the time with men and women. They are afraid. You understand? They think this is where I'm supposed to be. No, it's not. You just need to increase your faith. You need to increase the fellowship. You need to increase your knowledge. You need to increase your understanding. You need to increase good, positive men and women into your life.
And how would you say to one of the problems we have in today's society is even though we're more connected than ever, we're also more disconnected than ever because we have social media, like we mentioned. You can
Yes.
connect to somebody across the planet in an instant. I mean, here we are, probably 1,000 miles away, talking like we were, sitting in our hallway or in a living room. But at the same time, people feel more alone than ever. What would you say to inspire somebody to like reach out and connect and make that human connection that we all need? Do you have some advice?
I think the best advice that I can give people to, if they really want to reach out and get connected with the right organization in their community, you have a cell phone, or there might be a payphone around in the area. You can dial 211, and you can get connected with great organizations that is helping men and women become entrepreneurs, helping them find the resources if they want to go back to college. Um, these 211 is a great organization that connects men and women. And let me say this also, when it comes to mental health, because
Right.
there's a lot of people out in society now that have mental issues, but you can also call 211 and they can connect you with facilities that gives free mental health assessment.
Right. Because that is it's an epidemic in our society, and it probably related again to that sense of disconnection that so many people have. As human beings, we need to be sociable. We need to share. We need to connect with others. And when you feel isolated and alone, again, that'll have some bad effects on your mental health for sure.
Yes.
So I'm so glad that you brought such a practical, direct way of at least that's almost like asking for that lifeline, right? Like dialing that number, that 211. It's kind of like I need help, help me out, and the help is there, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the help is absolutely there. You just have to take the initiative and just call. Once you call, somebody will answer the phone and they will guide you and direct you, and make sure that you are getting the necessary help so you can become a better man or a better woman in society.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let me ask you, words of inspiration. You've already shared a lot, but what else can you share for our audience? So like when they watch this episode, they can come away inspired. What words of wisdom do you have?
I think that as a man, I see what's going on in our society, and I remember a time when Russell Wilson was in the Super Bowl before he went into the Super Bowl, he had a lot of doubt, and sometimes doubt can cloud your subconscious mind, and it can defeat you. And he had a conversation with his father right before he took the field, and he told his father, um, why can't I just go out and win it? And his father told him, why not you? Why not you? You can go out and you
Right.
can win it. And I'm telling people today, why not you? You can change your paradigm. You can become an entrepreneur. You can become a teacher. You can become that plumber. You can become that motivational speaker. Why not you? Go out and dream big, think big, love big, and embrace the change that is coming into your life.
All right. So let me ask you, what is next for Paul Lamar Hunter? What is next on your agenda?
My agenda, I have two books that's coming out. One is
Oh,
going to be Why Do Women Stay in Bad Relationships? And the other is I'm Pregnant and Child Support is the Father.
interesting. So you have some thoughts on that. Is this from what you've observed, growing up and just life experience? Like, where do you draw inspiration for these books?
Okay, life experience and what I see in society because I am a diplomat of education. So I want to educate men and women, especially women. If you are in a bad relationship, just exit that relationship. And I want also men and women to know that child support is not law. People don't even
Right.
know that. Child support is underneath the Social Security Act of 1975. You can go look it up yourself.
Okay.
But child support is a federal program. And so it is outsourced to the state. So when men and women walk into the courtroom, it's that judge obligation, the prosecutor, and the attorney that's supposed to tell their client that this is a voluntary court hearing and that child support is voluntary. So if you ever read the child support program, you will see there's 362 words that they use voluntary, voluntary throughout.
Right.
So people just don't read. People don't have um, the knowledge. I'm here to give you the truth that child support is not law. You can read the case law, Blessing versus Freestone. There were 5 white women in Arizona that took child support to court, all the way up into the United States Supreme Court. And child support had to go in there and tell on themselves and say, well, child support was never created to benefit the child or the mother. So the
Okay.
question is, who is benefiting from
Yeah.
child support?
And what? Wow. I hadn't even considered any of that at all. So, wow. That definitely gives room for thought. So, the book right now, it is No Love, No Charity is already out, correct?
It's already out. No
Okay.
love, no charity, the success of the 19th child. You can get this book at Barnes and Noble, Amazon.com. And let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, the book has been adapted into a screenplay. 2 years ago, I signed a movie deal with Tailflick, and that movie is coming out in 2027. So, hey, one day, Rise 41, you are going to be able to take your significant loved one to go see the Hunter family story.
I love it. I love it. And I will. I will, for sure, when it comes out. Maybe we'll even meet at that premiere.
Yes, yes,
You know?
yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure and a blast having you on the podcast. So thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing the inspiration. Thank you for sharing your message. And I mean, with that, um, I think we, I think we have the end of an amazing episode. Paul, again, thanks for coming, folks. Remember, assess, adapt, overcome. Rise 41, signing off. Thank you, Paul.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.